Glenn for G&P Custom Fabrications, and this is your long overdue Sketchy update. Hey guys, it's Glenn for G&P Custom Fabrications, and this is a Sketchy update video. I've not done a real good job of recording anything that I've been doing. I kept thinking I would, and then I'd get out here and start working on it, and I wouldn't do it. But I do have a lot of progress I'd like to share with you. So we'll go ahead and get started. Trying to keep my lighting here good. One change that I made that I'll go ahead and tell you about. I don't remember if I addressed this in an earlier video, but I know I had pictures of it, so I'll include pictures over here of what it was like before. But in this area here, look up here, was where my brake master cylinder was, and there was this big piece of pipe that I had protecting it from, and basically creating a dragging hazard, worst case, something that could get bent up into my brake linkage if it wasn't strong enough and I high centered. So that had to go away. But yeah, I got a video in my earlier videos working on the lift. You can see it in there for sure, but I'll try to get a screen capture and share that up here so you can see. But so that would be a before. Now this is an after. That's steering shaft, ignore that. But yeah, so that's what I had. That was one of the changes. When we get up top side, I will show you more on that. Here's the battery tray. It is still in place. I do plan on removing it, but it's still there. I haven't got to cutting it out yet. Running low on cutoff wheels and all that, so I need to make a Harbor Freight run and get some of that. And there's a local auction coming up this Sunday. I hope to maybe score some stuff on that. I think they have flap wheels and cutoff wheels and stuff like that there, so I want to go back and review that, and maybe I'll get a better deal and do that. But anyway, moving on, back in here you can see I got my 4-link, the bottom part of my 4-link done. I went ahead and tied it in with what is cross member, but this piece here will be cut out when I go to do the drive shaft. That's in the way of the drive shaft, so I'm going to have to cut it down. And I've got in real shocks, no longer motorcycle shocks. Now I got real shocks in. They looked huge coming out of the box because I'm so used to seeing those tiny motorcycle shocks in there. But these are, I thought I ordered 300-pound. Well, I don't know what website got me thinking that was right, but in the back of this, that probably is overkill, probably a lot more, but it does, I mean, I can pull on it and it does give, so it may be fine. But I may end up going with some lighter springs and moving these to the front where the engine's at, where I think it might need that weight a lot more, or need the heavier springs. I'm not sure on that yet. If you got any ideas, let me know. But yeah, these are actually 350-pound springs, which, yeah, it does seem excessive. But I got them mounted up, and after I got them mounted up, I'm not really happy with the height. It seems like the rear end's sticking up a lot higher than I want, by 2 or 3 inches. So I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I can raise the mounting points up on the tops a little bit. I really don't want to come down further on the axles, but I can go ahead and move them down here next to where the original mounts come off. Didn't use the original mounts because they would have been lined up directly underneath the frame, and that wouldn't have worked out. My gas tank is going to have to be pushed out more, but that whole mounting system on the gas tank is going to be completely redone anyway, so that's not a big deal there. But yeah, if you look underneath here, you can see I've got the floor all in. It needs wire brushed, cleaned up. Probably put some kind of undercoating underneath there, kind of knock down the sound on a little bit. Now let's go ahead and go top side. Okay, one thing too I was able to accomplish was I had borrowed a set of wheels from my buddy Jeremiah, and they ended up being the wrong diameter. I had to have 17s minimum, and they were 16s, and the center hole was too small. So I was able to put them on here with wheel spacers to get this axle in and get it mocked up initially, but after that I was able to find some on Marketplace, some 18-inch Dodge, I think 3rd gen, maybe 4th gen wheels. They're not wide mudders like I had on here. They'll definitely do the trick starting out. So those are on there, they're fitting right, so that allows me to get a lot of other stuff done knowing that that's taken care of. I got plenty of spacing here, and back spacing seems good, so that's going to stay like that. And okay, if you look on the inside here, hopefully the lighting works out good, you can see underneath my dash, and there is my 90-degree brake setup, master cylinder up underneath there, and yes, will be high pressure lines, which is why I'm going to put some kind of wall up, at least redirect flow. I mean, I won't completely seal off the cab from there, but I'll at least keep hot fluids from spraying directly on anybody, hopefully. Disassembling some of my wiring to get things out of the way, and one reason for that is you can see the original length. Actually, it was quite a bit longer than that. My original brake pedal linkage hung down quite a bit, and it came up from the floor. You can see that hole in the back where it came through the floor, and this is it now, and you can see the travel on it looks good. You can kind of see the inside of it. So yeah, I got lucky. I'd have to say, after studying aftermarket setups, trying some lighting, after looking at different aftermarket setups and planning out my own, my arc droid decided to take a crap, so I ended up on a totally different route. I ended up taking a piece of box tubing, I think maybe 6-inch box tubing, and being able to cut away what I didn't need, drill some holes, and just make that, and then weld that onto the original flange. You can see there, and it'd be up out of the way. But yeah, like I said, I'll be running guards, some kind of floor underneath it, which my feet will be fine with, just so that if anything comes loose, you can see that where there's a fitting up there. Just so if anything comes loose, I don't have to worry about hot fluid spraying down on us. It might drip, but at least it won't be spraying. So that's the thought process there anyway. So yeah, that was a big thing. A lot of you have seen the video that I posted, or the 2 videos I posted on Facebook, the reels of me with my progress on that. And yeah, once I got in the car, definitely really happy with the way it fit. I'm going to reinforce the outside. Right now it's just bolted 2 spots right there. I think we're probably going to take that forward into the firewall up there, do a piece of metal around it, you know, with the holes in it, and weld that onto here, maybe back in the back, to give it a lot more structure. I was working on getting this loose and freed up so I can move it. This is for my steering, and my steering was offset off to the center because of the way my door was, or for whatever reason, I really don't remember. But anyway, it was offset more than it needed to be towards the center, so I'm going to work on moving that over a couple inches too, try to get it more in line. And I'm going to be redoing the inside of my doors, so they won't be as thick, so they shouldn't protrude over as much. So I think that's the reason why I had the wheel over as far as I did to start with, was to keep from hitting my hands on the steering wheel as I was turning. I don't remember. But yeah, here's a look at the dash, or instrument cluster. I'll go roughly in there once it gets all put back together. I got a whole video on when I built that, I don't remember, but that's going to be a nightmare because all those wires that you see going towards the firewall, I need to take all of them loose and redo them and remap all that and draw it out. Hopefully I kind of remember or can trace back and see how I did that, because I didn't write nothing down. Silly me. But yeah, that's going to be fun. But I'm really proud of the way that turned out. It worked good. I only had one issue initially because I had something wired wrong. But yeah, everything self-contained right in there. Worked out good. I just get all those wires off there, and I'm going to redo all that wiring from the terminal strip there on back. I think I did mark underneath the terminal strip where a lot of those wires went. I don't remember, but I'll be able to trace a lot of it back. It'll make sense. It'll come back to me once I get it laid out. But also, you can see in here, I got center console a lot more finished out. Got shifter in place. I used to have a big tall shifter, and I had issues with it. It didn't have any locks to it. It just was relying on the detent of the transmission to hold it in gear. And we had issues with, if you got on it, the weight of it would want to throw it back, drop gears on it, throw it down into first. And even worse than that was it goes to slow down, it'd jump up into neutral and possibly into reverse. So that was not good. So I got that off there. I have this locking shifter set up now. It's not the coolest looking thing, but it will work. But yeah, I got to finish closing that up. A couple pieces. I'm going to leave it removable, just make it more accessible. You can see there the top side of that cross member that's going to have to be cut out. I'm not sure how much of it yet. And just make that removable in case I need to get in there for anything. As well as the side panel. You can see the linkage there for the shifter, and it needs to be connected. All that will be redone. You can see my cup holders. Every Dodge has to have cup holders. Yeah, that's pretty much. I think I showed you on the last video the battery box finished out. I don't know for sure. If not, I'll make sure I go back and show it to you. Because I would show you now, but I got all that cover removed and everything. But there's the battery box location. Okay, I went ahead and put that package tray area back on, so you can see, in case I hadn't showed you before, battery cover, which my buddy Eddie spotted, and he said, it looks like you took two Dodge oil pans and welded them together. I said, yes I did. That's exactly what that is. So yep, so that will, the whole thing will be able to flip up to access the battery. I left room for the cables to clear around the edges of it. I am going to leave this so that it's bolted down in the middle, and then it'll be like wing nuts around the sides to hold it down. You can see daylight through there now. I don't know if you can see that, but that I'll do stuff to seal that up, because the whole point of doing a lot of this, closing it in, is to help isolate you from the outside and the heat, all the stuff that makes rat rods so much fun. So I mean, that's an update. I should have had the camera going. I don't know how interesting it would have been. The whole brake thing, that's one of those situations. The whole brake thing is one of those situations where I hate to say I'm making it up as I go, but it was like I had to go from point A to point B. It was like, okay, how am I going to make this work? And I don't know. When I'm doing stuff like that, it's hard for me to set a camera up and explain thought processes and stuff. It's a nonverbal thing. I gotta let my brain go, see where the Lord guides me to make my cuts and what to do. And that setup, it ended up being totally different than anything that I found online in some aspects, in the way that the the lever action works, but at the same time, I mean, it's basically the same idea. I just have my linkages going differently than they do. And you can see there's 2 set screws off the front side there. All that will be secured tight once I make sure everything works. Right now those set screws is holding, you can see that bolt going down. I don't know if you see it anyway. Those set screws allowed me to get my positioning right, and then I ground flat spots onto that bolt, and so to make sure everything worked right. And once I know it's right, then I'll debating on whether or not I'll run some heavy duty rolled pins in place of those to lock it in place, or if I'll weld it, or maybe do both. Maybe when I take those 2 bolts out, I'll do a rolled pin in one and weld to the other, and make sure it stays tight. Because yeah, if that box tubing got loose from that bolt, then yeah, brakes would be gone. So that hole in the floor from the old brake pedal, all that I need to weld up, cut it off, get it out of there, help free up some space. I could probably maybe drop that brake pedal back a little bit more. I'm not for sure yet. Of course, the gas pedal will be sticking up more up this way. And I see transmission tunnels all the time that are just nice, clean bend here and a bend there. And man, for this one, I was so cramped for space. You can see, you know, I actually had to mimic the side of the transmission with the tunnel, so I wasn't losing any space. So that's why that sticks out like it does, is because in the transmission it sticks out like that, because of the linkage and the stuff on the side of it. So that's why that's there. That being said, now the whole transmission is over 1.5 inches or 3/4, I don't remember. I guess 3/4 of an inch over from where it was at. So that makes it, gives me a little more room in there for my linkage, which now we'll have to deal with soon. But anyway, I'm not dealing with that next. Not sure my next time I come out here what I'm going to do. I need to finish up this inside. I need to I know, one thing is I got all my brake lines and I got all my brake lines and my power steering lines for the Hydro Boost in a pile, and I need to go back and figure out what size fittings everything is, so I can order bulkhead fittings, because everything that comes from this side is going to go through bulkhead fittings through the firewall, come out in this area here, get rid of that, in this area, and go down and go to the power steering pump, the power steering pump, or the steering box. Anyway, this is where my bulkhead fittings will come out. Also for my brake lines, I'll run my brake lines down, proportioning valve maybe right here, and then they'll go out the way wherever they go. Here's a close-up of my motor mounts, which I'll cap that off. I think maybe not. It's plenty strong the way it is. I'll see. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. Sorry I didn't film any of that. Sorry, not sorry. If you're creative, and I've heard other guys that fabricate the way I do say the same thing. Sometimes when you're fabricating, you gotta get in the zone, you gotta flow to get stuff done, and having to worry about cameras working and not working and microphones and all that stuff sometimes cuts in that flow, and just makes it hard to get stuff done. I got hinges here for my doors. I will try to include you guys in on the door building process. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet. So here's another good look at the outside. These 2 bolts here are what's holding the master cylinder up, along with there's a bracket underneath there too. Let me show you that. Yeah, see that bracket there holding up the weight of the master cylinder, and then this is just the end of the brake pedal assembly is mounted there. Trial and error gave me lots of holes in the... So yeah, there was some fine tuning, but all that get covered by a piece of plate, maybe shaped like that. I don't know. Actually, that's a bullet hole or something that was already there, so I shouldn't cover that up. Probably will. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if I go all the way out to here and give that structure, might be better. I'm not sure. I'll get to that whenever I go finalize that. But one thing, if you didn't see the videos I had put on Facebook, this is one thing cool, is have access to my master cylinder right there. I gotta put a new hinge system on this, but that's an easy thing. And I want to make it where it still works for airflow can still go through it in order to get into the cab. So even though I'll have shields up to keep hot fluid from spraying on us, I still want this to be able to circulate air onto us. I don't think that the brake system by itself shouldn't get that hot. I don't know. I need to put in a cooler for the power steering fluid to go through so it don't get hot. Just being circulated. I know things will heat up that way. Now that I'm not running dualies of any sorts on back, I want to get rid of the dualies on the front. For one thing, the trailer, God forbid I ever have to load this back on my trailer, the fenders are too narrow for my lug nuts to get by. And I really don't need dualies on the front of here anymore if I don't have dualies on the back. Just, for the sake of symmetry or whatever, I don't like the looks of that anymore. So I can see inside of there that there are, looks like where bolts are bolted through from the hub or from the rotor, I guess I should say. And in theory, and according to Chat, who's an expert on everything, I should be able to pull that wheel off, and those should unbolt from the hub, and then this extension part should come off. Now I don't know if that's true yet or not, because there's also something about swedged on something, things being driven on. Hopefully that's not the case, because that sounds like a pain to deal with if I don't have a press, which I don't. So also, anyway, my next day out here, and maybe I'll go ahead and film that. It won't be a fabrication thing per se, but it will be a sketchy video. I need to get these wheels off, get those front rotors off and hubs, and see what I'm dealing with. Okay, something else too, in doing the rear suspension, I wanted to redo the front suspension, just clean it up, get rid of these. And I think I said this in previous videos. This is back from when I had the tow bar set up on it, and I know I got the geometry right. I got rid of my death wobble, but I just want to upgrade some of my suspension parts. They look kind of weak in light of what I got running in back now. And I plan on redoing the shock system up in front. Not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to do it. This is I was never crazy about running 4 shocks in the front. Yeah, it was kind of cool, and it helps steady stuff before I figured out that it was a toe in, toe out issue causing the death wobble. Only reason why I put the these two back on, was because I was clearly too heavy for just the regular shocks, just the ones by themselves. So I have no idea what the weight is on these. I tried Googling it, and they couldn't tell me, because I don't know exactly what these are off of. I just know they're off of motorcycles. None of them are Harleys. So I don't know what the weight capacity was on these to start with. So I don't know what I need to be looking at to put on here. Yeah, I mean, if I don't change out the front springs, it's not the end of the world. They've been working this long. I just want to make sure I don't screw up the geometry when I'm building up, because my main thing is these lower links. I want to redo those with some heavier stuff, and as you can see right now, I'm kissing the tie rod right there, so I would need to do something different there, drop it down, maybe drop it down and back. As to whether or not it's going to be ready to go anywhere anytime soon. I don't know. I really don't. I know that rewiring needs to be done before I even worry about starting it. There's so much of the other stuff that I want to get done first before I mess with that, because if I get it running, then I'll want to start driving it. If I want to start driving it, then I won't finish all the other stuff that needs to get done. I'll say, okay, well, that's good enough. I'm excited to drive it. No, I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that everything's done up as good as I can get it before I get tempted to drive it. Okay, well, I can't think of anything else to talk about at this point, so I guess this video is over. So I really, that's the update. That's the plans coming up. If you got any questions, any comments, be sure to leave them down below. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. It doesn't cost anything, and it helps me out. It helps get my videos out. Although I'm not really doing this to become some big influencer. I started out with this channel just because working with the railroad, there was guys that I wouldn't see for months at a time, that when I would end up working with them again, they'd ask me how my projects were coming in, and I'd have to remember, okay, what project was I working on when I worked with you last? And it started out as a way for me to share the work I was doing with my friends and keep them updated, because I'm not a social person. I don't get out and visit with a lot of people. I don't have a lot of people over at the shop when I'm working, so people ask me, what are you working on? So this is kind of a way of sharing what I'm working on with friends and family and coworkers. And you want to hit the subscribe button, you want to like it, that's great. Maybe other people see it, they'll like it too, and maybe this channel will grow into something that would be awesome. But as it is now, with just over 500 subscribers, ain't nobody getting rich anytime soon. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. This is Glenn for G&P Custom Fabrications, living the dream till the freaking phone rings. Thanks for watching.